Rita, it's kind of ironic that we spent 25 million Australian taxpayer dollars running ads for a vaccine, and maybe the Europeans won't let us have it, although the latest news is that Greg Hunt is confident we will. But don't you think it's a bit bizarre, the whole thing?
Well, it is bizarre the way the EU is behaving. Even the WHO, Tedros, has come out and slammed the EU for vaccine nationalism. So that is something I wasn't expecting to see in 2021. But I've got to say, I think we're a little bit too relaxed, and the federal government's a little bit too relaxed with this vaccine rollout because we don't have the huge rates of infection. They seem to think, oh, well, we'll just let the rest of the world do it and we'll come in and have a slower rollout. But our economy is being decimated. We are closed off from the rest of the world. We need this vaccine for economic reasons and to free our citizens, and I just can't understand why there's not more haste in getting it out there. And I've got to tell you, I'm putting up my hand. If they want to come and vaccinate me on this show, I will do it. I'll expose my arm, go for it, because I just want to
I disagree.
open the country up, Rowan.
100% with you, Rita, because because I think rushing the vaccine is insane. I think Greg Hunt has done exactly the right thing. Tread carefully, tread cautiously, particularly when you hear the number of stories about, well, OK, they've watered it down. No, the vaccine won't be that effective. It won't stop transmissions necessarily, won't do this and that. We have virtually zero cases. If it weren't for Dan Andrews, we'd have 100 cases in a year in this country.
But
so
we've also got virtually zero tourists and zero freedom.
Yeah,
Rowan,
yes, sure, but there's no guarantee that the vaccine comes, they're going to open the borders. There's no guarantee of that.
That's the problem, and I got to say, I'm completely with Rita on this. I will roll up my sleeves right here on arm to get that, right here on air to get that jab, and I think everybody should be willing to do that. But I think that the problem is the government hasn't given us enough of a reason to do so. Because we've got zero cases, essentially, here in Australia, they are now a victim of their own success. It means that when they start to let the virus get into play again as herd immunity builds, they have now backed themselves into this position that they were in at the start, which is essentially kind of Jacinda Light-ism, which says that you can't have anybody getting coronavirus anywhere. So they need to start changing their messaging. But once you get your vulnerable populations vaccinated, then there's no reason to really not start to open up Australia to the rest of the world.
That's logical, but you're being logical, James. You're being logical in defiance of every single thing we have seen over the last 12 months, which is that originally it was just flatten the curve. It'll all be over by whenever it was, August or something. Flatten the curve. It'll all be over by Christmas. And yet at no point, put masks on, take them off. At no point do we ever get any closer to this kind of let's open up the economy and so on. We're already being told it's another year till we open up the borders. So, yes, it's great that it's coming. It's great the vaccine's coming. But I think Greg Hunt is wise to not rush the thing out, but to see what's happening around the rest of the world. And the results coming in from around the rest of the world, by the way, are good. So that is a good thing. Anyway, let's talk. I just think
we look at Israel and they've almost got their population vaccinated. You even look at the rates in the US of more than 1 million being vaccinated a day. The UK is going ahead in leaps and bounds. And I think we're going to get vaccinated anyway. Let's do it quicker rather than later so we can reopen our economy because, yes, we don't have the vaccine, but we do have enormous amounts of national and state debt that's only going to get worse until our economy is firing again on all cylinders.
As I say, you're making the assumption that the vaccine will lead to the opening of the economy. I question that.
Well,
anyway,
it has to.
Well, you say it has to. You said that all along. I was saying back in April we should have been opening the economy. There was no need to close the economy. We know that now. We shut our borders. We did the right thing. If it wasn't for that buffet down in Victoria, we would have opened the economy ages ago.